to try it down. When Joko try it down, who in my party, I have not come to the country to tell people I support him. No. Principally, I tell you this, to be too damn greedy and good. We elected Jeremiah in 2017 up to 2023. Why does he want to move Tom Grupi, for example? Why does he want to contest against anybody, for example? You don't know me, scaring me. I'm a principle-minded person. So I told people that go around the money you're not still because he the grace I mean deputy co-chair. And the ministry will come to defend a budget, they can pay to them. They got money, so let's spend it. Yes, I'll be born my great do up on my own suit. So you are one side of MP, you fight me, you fall. When Brenda about to try it die. When
Senator Prince Johnson, would like to welcome you this morning to the Alternative Youth Radio.
Morning, it's my pleasure to speak to your media, to our people.
Let's go to business. How is NIMBA on the overall concerning a lot of developments in your role as a senator?
NIMBA is okay. NIMBA is getting up from the 2023 election. NIMBA is deeply committed to supporting GAB and Jeremiah to bring victory, not only victory in the external spending, but bring development to our people and bring a real change.
Okay, Senator, now to this issue, as you mentioned, Senator Kong has been named as running mate and to former Vice President Joseph Boakai, and he comes from the MDR. What exactly is the MDR saying in reference to this? What reception has it received?
Let me say this to you in studio and all of our people in Lofa. I want to say hello to all of you, and I want to say this matter we're talking about is not about Jeremiah Kun. It's about NIMBA country. It's about Liberia. The matter we're talking about is not about Lofa. I mean, not about Oman Boakai. It's about Lofa. It's about Liberia. Because if I may go a little bit into history, the Unity Party it was established by Dr. Edward B. Ketterly from Lofa. And the Liberia Action Party was headed by Jackson Ebdo, the father of NIMBA country, the late. And the Unity Party and Liberia Action Party combined, they emerged, bringing up the Unity Party with the rooster as the emblem of the Liberia Action Party. So NIMBA country of Jackson Ebdo, Lofa country of Edward B. Ketterly, both parties are strong parties. They have emerged to change the course of history. The dawn of a new day is imminent. And that's why we in NIMBA are so happy. Our spirit is lifted up, and we want to be bringing Oman Boakai to NIMBA with his son Jeremiah Ko. After that, we will escort Oman Boakai to Lofa to tell all Lofians to rally around this old man. He is the face of Lofa country. Don't miss this chance. You know, Edward B. Ketterly tried to be president. He couldn't make it. It was not God's destiny. Harry Moniba, Dr. Harry Moniba, was vice president to do. Very faithful man, very loyal man. You know, Lofa people, they are peaceful people. And so we want to see Lofa produce the president of the republic. We want Lofa to produce that others can follow your example of peace. You people in Lofa are people of peace. That's why when anybody wants to be president, they always go looking for Lofa men to be VP because they are loyal. And that comes from a story of Chief of Staff Kwame Johnson. When Kwame Johnson was Chief of Staff and Tubman died in the London clinic in 1971, the foreign
since he decided to run for the presidency, I don't think Joe and I have agreed on much. But there's one thing I agree with him about. No Congo man should be president of Liberia again. But there's another side of that story, Joe. No countryman should be president of Liberia either. What Liberia needs today is a true Liberian who is most qualified to lead our country. It doesn't matter whether you are Kru or Gribble, whether you're Madingo or Kran, whether you're Bassa or Pele or Gio or Mano. If you are Liberian and you are qualified to lead the country, it is time that you step forward and lead. It doesn't matter whether you are Kru or Gribble, whether you're Madingo or Kran, whether you're Bassa or Pele or Gio or Mano. If you are Liberian and you are qualified to lead the country, it is time that you step forward and lead. It doesn't matter whether you are Kru or Gribble, whether you're Madingo or Kran, whether you're Bassa or Pele or Gio or Mano. If you are Liberian and you are qualified to lead the country, it is time that you step forward and lead. I don't understand why Joe will run away from his record. He's been first president for 12 years, Joe. I want to take tonight to challenge you. Come out. You and those fellas you got supporting you. Let's put our record forward. Let's put our vision forward and stop this bullshit about who Congo and who country. I don't understand why Joe will run away from his record. He's been first president for 12 years, Joe. I want to take tonight to challenge you. Come out. You and those fellas you got supporting you. Let's put our record forward. Let's put our vision forward and stop this bullshit about who Congo and who country. It is time that we put Liberia first. That you step forward and lead. I don't understand why Joe will run away from his record. He's been first president for 12 years, Joe. I want to take tonight to challenge you. Come out. You and those fellas you got supporting you. Let's put our record forward. Let's put our vision forward and stop this bullshit about who Congo and who country. It is time that we put Liberia first.
Good afternoon, good afternoon, and a pleasant welcome to Freedom Hub on 87.9. This is the official voice of Freedom Communications Incorporated. My name is Kai. I'm here today on this wonderful Thursday afternoon in Monrovia. We have a lot more going on. Too many things happening in the country. Liberia, they say, is at a crossroad. A period of a national retrospective analysis. A time when Liberians will be concerned about the future of the country. So we got 2 minute things happening in the country at about this moment. We have two many things happening. Too many issues going on. The Liberian people are concerned. They're kind of worried. They are, anxious to know the different teams that will encounter the Liberian president at the level of the national elections in October, when Mr. Weah, President Weah, and his able deputy, the Honorable Her Excellency Madam Chief Joel Howard Taylor, will be going back for the re-election. The people of Liberia want to know exactly as to the kind of individuals who will be going up against the sitting government. In this situation, we have new development across the country. I repeat, there are brand new developmental stories across the country. Information reaching us says Mr. Henry Pedro Costa of the All Liberian Party is about to be selected through a very special arrangement to be the head, the political leader of the All Liberian Party. What this means is that there is a plan to ensure that Henry Costa will contest the Liberian presidency in October. He's going to be contesting for the position of the Liberian presidency in October, following the situation of Job Waka not selecting the former talk show host. Did I say that? He's not a politician, though. So, yeah. We have been told from some, reliable sources within the ALP that the decision to have Henry Costa selected as the political leader and subsequent presidential aspirant and candidate in the upcoming presidential election, we are told that decision is about to be consummated. And this will see Costa adding up to the list of those who are opting to become president of Liberia. Yes, at the moment, we have the Honorable Job Waka, the Honorable Alexander Benedict Cummings, the Honorable Tiawan Se Gonglo, the Honorable Moniba. We also have information reaching out to us, information we are gathering, says that Mr. Costa is about to be selected as the political leader and subsequent candidate on the ticket of the All Liberian Party. Oh my God. On the ticket of the All Liberian Party to contest the Liberian presidency in October. This is as a result of the rejection by old man Job Waka from the angle of wanting to be the vice president of Liberia. It is a developing story. Mr. Alexander Cummings continues to search for his running mate. It is becoming a very, very terrible situation as time is running out on the ANC political leader. We are told the ANC political leader is contemplating on having his running mate to be a son or daughter from the Bassa land. Initially, the Honorable Cummings visited Grand Bassa County, held conversations with Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence, and we are told that Yomli Kanga Lawrence, from what we are gathering, is unwilling to have a deal with Cummings. And so at the moment, Cummings is still within the Bassa territory, trying to ensure that his choice of a VP pick will be a son or a daughter of Grand Bassa County or somebody from the Bassa ethnic group. That is the case with Mr. Ellis Cummings. And we are told that Mr. Cummings is contemplating on having a former Foreign Affairs Minister, Beston Metonga, Finley selected. We're also told that Mr. Cummings is contemplating on having Madam Charlene Bronskin, the daughter of the late Councillor Charles Walker Bronskin, selected as the running mate to him in the upcoming elections in October. The race towards the selection of the VP is still on, with the newest political news in town having it that Mr. Costa is to assume the role of the political leader of the All Liberian Party, and he will subsequently contest in the elections in October as a presidential candidate. Isn't that isn't that a very interesting political conversation? Join the platform. Like the folks will say, join the conversation. And let's have a wonderful time this afternoon, so as to have a real analytical time on this radio, as we intend to rumble through the chances of Mr. Cummings. What is he up to in the Bassa region? Is Mr. Finley going to be a good pick? Is Madam Charlene Bronskin going to be a good pick? Is Cummings that desperate? Is it a good sign that a presidential candidate or somebody who is opting to become president will be in such a critical position as to making a determination as to who will be selected as your running mate? And those are conversations we'll be having. In between time, we're also going to be looking into the Liberian Senate. Almost all of the major presidential actors, most of those who are opting to become president in this country, most all of them, we want to look into the Liberian Senate for a choice of a running mate. What do we say of this? Is it becoming a trend? And Senator George Weah and Senator Joel Howard Taylor in 2017 went through the process and became president and vice president respectively. In 2023, we see Joe Walker run into the Liberian Senate to select Mr. Jeremiah Coon. At the same time, we also see President George Weah maintaining the head of the Liberian Senate in Her Excellency Dr. Joel Howard Taylor as a running mate. And so two of the tickets we have so far got the running mate from the Liberian Senate. What is in the Senate? What is in the Senate? What is in the Senate that people are not telling us? What role should the Liberian Senate play in governing this country? What role should we demand of the Liberian Senate in solving some of the problems confronting our country? Those are all issues we'll talk about. And trust me, with the rest of the 1 hour plus meetings, we're going to be having a conversation over that. And to ensure that you have a wonderful time here on the radio. Let's take a few bars of our theme song. By the time we return, we're going to be running into major issues right here on the conversation. Hopefully, Alexa is going to join me during the course of the program right here on the Thursdays edition.
From the center to interior, keeping us safe, let's stop for all.
Crime Stopper Liberia is here for you. Remember, you see it, you report it. This is a message from your own self, Omen Sam Sion.
Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, let's stop for all. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Ram stop, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Ram stop all Liberia, from the center to interior. Ram stop, keeping us safe, let's stopping crimes for all of us.
Okay, so welcome back to the program Freedom Hub on 87.9. The official voice of Freedom Communications Incorporated. My name is Kai, and I'm here today on this wonderful edition. Sadly, we got some technical issues, but again, we're doing everything possible to solve these challenges behind the scene. But we are good, and it is a wonderful thing in the country at about this moment. Let me say good evening, good afternoon, good morning to all of the people listening to us, watching us across the world. It is for you that we are here. We are grateful that you take up your time to listen to us. We value that patience from you. We apologize when we are off the radio without informing you. We do apologize, but again, it is the electoral time. There are times we're going to be caught unaware, and so yeah, you got to move along, and we just hope we're going to be smooth going forward. Now, there is this information that we have available unto us, and just as I was doing the intro for today's presentation, I got an information from one of a key, one of a key member of the Liberian Senate, and he's Bomi County Senator Edwin Mervyn Snow. And this is what Senator Snow posted a couple of minutes ago. He said, change of topic. A talk show host will be made political leader of a party with a membership of 761. Perhaps you want to say Liberians or members. He will then run for president in October. This is what Senator Edwin Mervyn Snow posted a couple of minutes ago. Senator Edwin Mervyn Snow of Bomi County. He said a talk show host will be made the political leader of a party with a membership of 761 people. He will then run for president of Liberia in October. This is coming from Senator Edwin Mervyn Snow. Now, just as I was on the platform, providing the intro, that statement came forth. And let me say this to our people in Liberia, that I am exceedingly grateful to have been part of this dispensation of the Liberian society. This era, the fact that I'm one of the key players in this era, I'm exceedingly grateful to God Almighty and to you, the Liberian people, especially those of you who follow us and believe what we do. The decision by the All Liberian Party, the party that we know to be presided over by Mr. Benani Ure as the political leader, the decision by that party to want to have Mr. Costa placed on their ticket as the presidential candidate is a decision that was taken as a result of what the All Liberian Party has termed as betrayal on the part of Mr. Boaka. Is the decision to put Costa on the presidential ticket a good thing for the party? That is a conversation for another day. Are they right for staying all by themselves and not going to join the Unity Party and Mr. Bwaka, after selecting Jeremiah Kuhn as the running mate, are they right for doing so? That's another conversation for another day. But what I can say and what we know for a fact is that this decision, as we've been told, and thankfully, Senator Snow was able, to do a post in that regards. This decision is as a result of the kind of abandonment and what may appear to be the greatest political betrayal in post-war Liberia that was meted out against the All Liberian Party, the Yomlikanga Lawrence version of the Liberty Party, and other key members of the then United CPP. Why is the ALP taking the decision at the moment? Was the ALP contemplating on something extra? Were the guys from the ALP, were they thinking on something extra? Their involvement with the CPP from the onset, was it something to trust in terms of sincerity? Were there ulterior motives? And somebody would say, were there sinister motives as well? Here is what I know based on the experience I've had, based on what I know from a political perspective in this country. Here is what I know happened. When Mr. Cummings launched the revolution to demonize the Williams administration, when Mr. Cummings instructed Muna Farah and the rest of the people under the TPS arrangement in America, like Muna Farah said in one of her statements, for the sole purpose of undermining this government, we knew that whatever political arrangement that would have, emerged out of that arrangement would not be something to trust. And that's why on this platform, we branded it as the Cow Poo Friendship. All of you who know this show very well, you can attest that I have said this repeatedly on the show. People went to that arrangement with too many sinister motives. Everybody had their personal agenda. For Mr. Ure and the All Liberian Party, the motive was very clear. For Mr. Ure, he went to that arrangement because he was very clear and very divisive from the onset. And I'm not going to miss my words on it. He went to that arrangement because he didn't like the fact that the new government was presided over by a George Weah. No, he didn't like that. And so at a particular time, he said, we will need to take our country back. Now, when people go to election in this country, when Liberians go to elections, those on the ballot, papers are Liberians. And so whoever the Liberian people who are legitimate voters will select in any political process, that person or those individuals are automatically Liberians just by qualifying to be on the ballot paper. Now, to have somebody go to a public gathering and say, we will want to take our country back. In that context, it means the country is with people who do not have the right or who are not supposed to be in charge of the country. That was the case of Mr. Ure. So he went in Bomi and made it clear that we need to take our country back. A very divisive statement. That in itself had no place in national unity. That statement that was made. And so when Mr. Cummings launched the idea to form a collaboration of political parties are against George Weah presidency, not because he's not able to lead, but because he's George Weah, a crewman and woman's son, from a humble background, somebody who did not grow up from the elite class, right? When they had a mindset, they thought to form themselves into a collaboration. At that level, they thought to ride on the quote-unquote popularity of former Vice President Bouakai as a way of gaining political relevance. Because some of the parties that went to that arrangement, for example, Mr. Cummings' party has 7% in the elections. For Benina Ure, Senator Snow just told us he party whole membership at 761 persons. So you had most of the political parties going to that arrangement with the mindset that they will ride on the Joe Bouakai's number to their advantage. Although they didn't, all of those parties, the two different political parties, the major ones, the ALP, the Alternative National Congress and the Liberal Party, the three of them, although they didn't like Mr. Vice President, but they choose to have an alignment with him because of a common goal that they have, which is to do everything possible so that the country child who is in authority will not be given the chance to steer the affairs of the country from a free perspective. So they went to the arrangement without trusting themselves. They went to the arrangement. So Ure, and I'm telling you why they want to make us a political leader, right? Ure had the mindset that in this arrangement we are into, I am already aware that my party cannot boast of over 5,000 to 6,000 human beings across the country in terms of votes. So this arrangement, I'm not going to be greedy. That was Mr. Ure's concern. In this arrangement, I am not going to be greedy. I will not act like I want to eat all. The first thing I went to the elections, the Liberian people did not do me justice. They voted against me massively to the extent that I could not even come in the first 8, human being in the process. So I'm not going to go, to this process as a presidential candidate. So I will not be greedy. But what I will do is to put myself in the picture by exploiting the health condition and the age of Mr. Bouakai. So I will support Bouakai. Although I don't see Bouakai as that person who should lead the country. No, I don't see him that way because he's not from our class of people. But I will manage to tolerate his presence. I will manage to tolerate, the idea of collaborating with Mr. Bouakai, so that somewhere, somehow, when it is at the level where he's going to be selecting a running mate, he could look in my way. Even if he will not choose me, he will choose somebody of my choice. That was Mr. Ure's personal goal in the whole CPP arrangement. What went wrong? For Ure to make sure that this was achieved, what did he do? He was very firm in showing that the separation or whatever the breakdown of the CPP, was done. So he took people like Joe Biden, he took people like Alexander Cummings to court. Mr. Ure took people like Alexander Cummings to court because he was trying to play a diversionary tactics in the political space. He was trying to play the very smart game to get Cummings, who was a competitor for the vice presidential slot, to Mr. Bouakai, to get Cummings out of the picture. Ure had to muster the courage to sue one of his own CPP men. And so Cummings too, he will not take it. So when he went to court, he too said, but then Musa Belede and myself with John will form our own personal CPP, will do it, and let Ure be on the side with Joe Bouakai. So although it was hurting Ure to send a Cummings to court, but Ure did that because he was of the opinion that by doing so, it would signal to Mr. Bouakai that he is so loyal to Mr. Bouakai. Ure sent Cummings to court and did everything possible for people to boo Cummings and call him roll in this country, finger up. At the same time, you have one of the confidants to Mr. Ure, Mr. Costa, was on radio in this country, denigrating Cummings to the letter, saying all kinds of things to Cummings. And let me say this, whenever I'm on the radio, you know, when we're having this kind of conversation, it is important that we play the voices so people don't think we're making up stories. Yeah, that is what I would do. That is what I would do. So all through this period, Mr. Ure did everything in his power to ensure that Cummings will not come closer to Mr. Bwaka in terms of wanting, you know, to be the vice tenor bearer to Mr. Bwaka. So Ure took, what is his name? Cummings to court. That was not the only thing. Ure instructed his political son, Mr. Costa, to say all of the worst things about Mr. Cummings. Let's know it.
All of my people to know that the COP that I'm chairman of will not endorse Alex Cummings to become standard bearer of the CPP. I want all of my supporters to know that the COP will only endorse Bwaka. The COP will only endorse Bwaka. But in private time, I just don't support Alex Cummings for president. All the Cummings supporters in the COP get angry. That is a damn business. You're not my mom or my pa. Stupid fool.
Okay, are you hearing it? So Mr. Ure did everything possible. Look, the reason I'm going way back to have this conversation is because I want to give you a clear connection to where we are as a country. The decision to want to make Costa the political leader of the ALP is not something, it's not something that was willingly done. It's not something that people take pride in doing. But they are about to do it. They are consummating the idea to do it because they feel hurt and abandoned after taking so many political risks. One of the things the ALP, Mr. Ure and Mr. Costa did was to ensure that they denigrate Cummings to the letter. That they did everything possible that would make Cummings appear to be a desperate politician where Joe Bwaka would not even want to look the way of Cummings. And like I told you, some of the things they did had to do with Costa taking all of his time on the radio to deal with Cummings.
Get angry. That is a damn business. You Cummings supporters in the COP. It's absolutely simple.
I live alone.
It's absolutely simple. I just don't support Alex Cummings for president. Absolutely simple. I just don't support Alex Cummings for president. All the Cummings supporters in the COP get angry. That is a damn business. You're not my mom or my pa. Stupid fool.
So you see that? So Mr. Ure did everything possible with the help of Costa and the rest of the folks in the ALP to do the whole putting of Mr. Cummings from the cycle of Bwaka, because both Cummings, Ure, and you know, I will not be so mean to Yombly. Yombly never had that mindset. You know, maybe she was a little bit different, but that's another conversation. But both, Ure and Cummings had the perception that Joe Bwaka is fragile. He's old. Beyond being old, he got some medical issues that nobody is proud of, because anybody can get sick anytime. I don't take pride in talking about it, but it is the fact. That's why we got to say it. So for the both of them, they felt that whoever will become so closer to Mr. Bwaka will have the possibility of earning the trust of Mr. Bwaka in becoming the running mate. And what do you know? By the time you become running mate of Mr. Bwaka, and eventually, you know, in the event where he becomes president, it means you are the next in line based on the ascendancy clause in the Liberian Constitution to become president in the event where the president is incapacitated, dead, or unable to govern. So you have felt that, see, I went to the election in 2017, the people vote for me. You know, I am not going to push to say I won't be president. I will use the shortcut befriend Baka. In the process of befriending, Baka, I'll make power with Cummings, put Cummings and Baka, against one another, put serious confusion amongst them. When Cummings leaves, then I will be the only option available to Baka in terms of making decisions. So even if Baka don't want me vice president, I will have a say in who becomes the vice president to Joe Baka. That was the arrangement Mr. Ure had with himself. Fast forward, Baka recently announced Jeremiah Kun, to the utmost surprise of everybody within the arrangement. To the extent that Mr. Ure had to use his daughter Tilia Ure to go to Nigeria and connect some kind of Nigerian billionaire, some kind of other different men, brought private plane in Liberia, rubber fuel, put Joe Baka in private plane. The private plane pick up from this country carrying to Nigeria, brought him back. That is to what extent Ure sacrifice. No. Ure again made it possible for Costa to take over Joe Baka a few weeks ago when Joe Baka had some medical issues. Costa was the one who was in charge, took Baka to America, did preliminary medical checkup and intervention, raised some money in America for Joe Baka, took him to Philadelphia, the different Liberian stores, the Liberian shops in Philly. They did all of the stuff. Costa spent so much money. At the same time, they were able to find some partners who were willing to purchase a series of vehicles and other campaign materials and other sponsorship for the ticket. They did all of those things. To their utmost surprise, Mr. Baka went for Kun. To them, that was the highest level of betrayal. So they made a decision not to attend the endorsement and that they will go into consultation. The consultation is on and it is at the last level. They are about to consummate their arrangement. That arrangement is to make Costa the political leader of the ALP because Mr. Ure is not of the opinion that he will want to put himself through the stress of becoming political leader for the ALP, and go to the election with Mr. Weah. No, he will not want to do so. Now, is that decision a political, it's smart political one? The partisans of the ALP will answer. Are the folks in the ALP taking this decision emotionally, or they are, very collective in their action? That is something for the psychosocial therapists and other people who are in the psychosocial counseling. That is something that they will be able to determine. But what I think is happening is that I am witnessing a group of people angry over the fact that they've done so many terrible things to themselves for a particular cause that they are not going to benefit. That is, if this cause will even have a benefit in the end. So to have Mr. Costa is to clearly tell Baka that you're not going to ride on our popularity as well. Yeah, ALP may not have the number, but ALP got one of the biggest voices in the country. ALP may not have the number as a political structure, but they have a partisan who is a veteran in the talk show business. Whether you like him or not, whether you hate Costa or you like him, he is a brand in the Liberian political commentary, sector. He has earned his name. He has made himself. He's a voice in the political space of our country, and that is something that people in the CDC, people in the United Party, people in the ANC, the very ALP where he's from, even the Liberian media, that is something that is on. You cannot debate it. That is something that you cannot subject to any argument. So the ALP guys are saying, although we may not have the number, but we got one big voice. And so since this man was unable to take Pape Ure or refused to take the choice of Ure, who was Costa to be the vice standard bearer, we are not going to allow ourselves to accompany that quote-unquote Jeremiah Kun ticket. So to actually show that we're not going to be playing is because, mind you, when Mr. Braga abandoned the ALP could not go back to Mr. Cummings because Ure is on record for taking Cummings to court. Henry Costa just told you on this platform. Let me go and replay it. Costa just told you on this platform, you know, that he will never support Ellis Cummings. That's what he said.
People to know that the COP that I'm chairman of will not endorse Ellis Cummings to become standard bearer of the CPP. I want all of my supporters to know that the COP will only endorse Walker.
Thank you. So unlike Senator Prince Johnson, who can say so and say so, the ALP guys are saying we will not support Bwaka. But at the same time, we're not going to Cummings because we've done so much injury, you know, to Cummings when we're in the process of getting him off the Joe Bwaka, you know, list of individuals to consider. So we're not going to go back to Cummings. We are not going to go to support Joe Bwaka after betraying us. We're not also going to Cummings because we insulted him before. And at the same time, we will want to be participants in the process. We want to be active participants in the electoral process. So how do we proceed? The way to proceed is to go to an emergency, you know, session, to go to a process that will usher in a new breed of leaders from the party angle. And so they came up with the decision to have a special convention. We have been told that they are at the level where they are considering having Mr. Costa as the presidential candidate. So they say, since Bwaka rejected us, and we did stop the Cummings because of that process. We're not going to go to Cummings because we already bettered the relationship there. We ain't going to go to Bwaka anymore because Bwaka betrayed us. We will stay on our own. So even if it means George Weah will re-win the election, let him win, but we'll ensure that others will participate. And so they're going to bring Mr. Costa as the presidential candidate. So watch it. That could be if that decision is made, we're told in few days time, you know, the decision will be reached, it will be announced, and Mr. Costa will be left with the opportunity to select his own running mate. That is where we are as a country. That is where we are as a country. Now, if this is the kind of arrangement they were organizing in 2018, 2019, if it is as a result of these kind of, you know, childish separations, because it is childish, right? If it is as a result of the kind of childish political interactions they are into, for which they destabilize this country, then some of us will not forgive them. We're not going to forgive them. If for the kind of play, you know, childish thing they are into, if that because of these stuff that they are doing today, for which they did not, for which they did not allow the new government to stand, they were protesting here and there, every day they're protesting. If it is as a result of the Fitija and all of these, you know, incoherent attitude they're displaying, for which they destabilize this country, then where are we? So today, Mr. Ure is going to step aside to allow Costa to be the political leader of the ALP, find his running mate. They go to the process. Maybe second round, they will choose to support Cummings, choose to support Bwaka, or choose to support George Weah if there will be second round. If the election will be a one-round election, well, that's it. Even if there will be the last party to 18 votes in the process, they will be proud to do so because they will not want to support Bwaka, who they see as a betrayer. They will not want to go to Cummings because they also know that they've done so much injury to Cummings in the process of wanting to get closer to Joe Bwaka. Mr. Cummings, on the other hand, is in Grand Bassa County at the moment, very, very disturbed. And trust me, I pity Mr. Cummings. Beyond all political sentiments and you know, differences that we have on policy issues, I pity the current position Cummings is in. We got barely 5 months to elections. Till today's date, Cummings is yet to make a determination as to who will be selected to run with him for president and vice president of the Republic of Liberia. That decision is yet to be made. few weeks ago, a conversation was held between Cummings and the Yomli Kanga Lawrence version of the Liberty Party. And that decision was to have Yomli go with Cummings as a vice running mate. Vice Senator Barrow. That was the decision. They went to that process. Yomli told Cummings, the only way I will accept to become vice, standard bearer to you is for you to tell Musa Belete to return my rights. And we go back to use the constitution that I know to be the one from the Liberty Party. In the absence of using that constitution that I want us to use, I'm not going to do it. Cummings, on the other hand, is very, very careful. He doesn't want to place himself in a position where he will be setting for uncertain. So say, okay, Yomli, I agree. Musa, get Yomli the party. Cummings is afraid that by the time Musa, will go ahead and give Yomli Kanga Lawrence Liberty Party, Yomli may just grab the party and say, come in, Womi, I'm not going to do no business with you. I'm now the legitimate owner of the party, and I'm going to pledge my support to this place, or I will contest the presidency all by myself because I have the full structure of the Liberty Party with me. So Cummings too said, Yomli, even though that's what you want, but please let me select you as vice senator bearer. NEC already know. Then we can come out with Federal Liberty Party constitution. I can talk to Musa. Musa will agree with you. We build a consensus on it. We go to a roundtable conversation and sort out all of the things we want to sort out. Those were the conversations being held. Yomli kept insisting that you got to turn the party over to me before I accept to be your running mate. In the absence of that, there is no deal. It means see Finney, give Finney. Conversation broke down right in the middle. The next concentration Cummings started to have was, okay, so Yomli is bluffing me because she thinks she has the support of the Bassa people. And of course, I need the support of the Bassa people as well. That's why I came to her. But the way she bluffed me, I am not going to continue to prostrate before her. I'm not going to continue to bow down to her. I will equally go into the same Bassa region to search for a formidable force that even if Yomli decide to support somebody else or decide to pledge support to another political institution, that person will render Yomli's support useless in Grand Bassa, in the Bassa region, because that person will be an individual of influence as well. So Cummings started to have a list of individuals who he was contemplating on. And so it reached a point where they thought to have the daughter of the late Councillor Charles Bronskin selected. Charlene Bronskin. A Charles Bronskin daughter there. Baba used to let her get. She took after her father. She's now a councillor at law. You know how they can call it? The legal people. She's taken after her father. She's in the first step of her dad. At the moment, she has an ambition to become a representative in Grand Bassa County. So Cummings is saying, since Yomli bluffing, the Bassa people respect Bronskin more than Yomli. So when I tell Yomli daughter will also be able to appeal to the Bassa votes in the Bassa region. And that way, I may be able to tap into the Charles Bronskin Liberty Party vote factory. The conversation with Charlene Bronskin is a 60-40 situation. It has not gone to the mature level yet. They're still having it on the surface. But there are people who telling Cummings the leg are too small. Jeremiah Kuhn, older than her. Joao Taylor, the legacy Joao Taylor as a man, and so forth. In the event where Yomli is going to be selected, Yomli and the leg are in the same age. She may not. She's too small for it. Those conversations are being held. People telling Cummings she may be politically strategic in the Bassa area, but her age may not be appropriate. She's still young. She may not want to venture at this early stage. She would think this is so huge for her because initially she had the idea to become a representative. Maybe in subsequent times she'll want to become senator. Yeah, by then it's going to be ripe for her to be selected as a vice standard bearer. And someday, somehow, she could declare her intention like her father, to be president of this country. So we think she may not want to be, a vice standard bearer at the moment. So people started to tell Mr. Cummings, this whole side of the conversation. So Cummings at that point became very, very stark. And he said, oh, but then what then do I do? All the ANC people in the country, the ones out of the country, they know what I'm saying. They cannot deny it. Besides, I have almost all of the conversation the ANC men can have in the country. I have almost all. Including the recent one they had. I got it. The ANC men. So that one is something where they know that I know. Yeah, the ANC men. It's something that they know that I know. Just so you know, we got one of the ANC men or something. One guy they call Rodney. Rodney is in the ANC chat room, the ANC global chat room. His number ends in 408. So it is 8408. It's an American number. It's plus 1 570. Then the last 4 digits are 8408. I don't want to call his entire number, but he knows himself. You call him Rodney. It's a good day. Or we are leaving too many talking points of the opposition parties on the table without addressing them. We need to make our people, the Liberian people, to understand that the information shared are not the truth. Mr. Cummings may have spoken to Mr. Coon, but realized. So yeah, these are just a tip of the iceberg of to what extent we know what the CPP guys, especially the ANC guys, are talking in their chat rooms. That is how sophisticated we are. The only way we will not know is except you move all the people in the chat room, including the administrator, you shut it down. They will not know how you get the information, but we have those information available to us. Anyway, we won't get it, we'll get it. And so it reached a point that said, no, don't take Charlene Brunson. Charlene too small. She may not have the well-weather, she may not have the experience to combat Yombly in the Bassa region, just in case Yombly decide to support Baka, or just in case Yombly decide to form a different political party, or Yombly decide to support CDC. You may not have the chance to go in Bassa and go fight Yombly because Charlene is just small like that. It'll be her first time. It'll be her political debut. Now, her first entry into politics, you don't want to take her at the level of the vice presidential slot. So the third Cummings too confused. The Coca-Cola man, may I finish saying Coca-Cola water? He's not knowledgeable fully of the political space in Liberia, so he's kind of confused. He's contemplating on making a decision. It is still tough for him, so he's there. Then came the suggestion of Mr. Gbesong Garfinley, the former pro tem of the Liberian Senate. He won the Grand Bassa senatorial elections, got defeated later on in the process when he went for re-elections. In 2020, he thought to go back. Yombly Kanga Lawrence defeated him, at a very slight margin. So Cummings this time around is saying, Gbesong could pull the trick. Because you know why? Gbesong Garfinley, was a pro tem of the Liberian Senate, very knowledgeable in running the affairs of the Liberian Senate. Beyond that, Gbesong Garfinley became foreign minister of this country. When he resigned because he wanted to contest in Grand Bassa County from his foreign, ministerial position, he went to Grand Bassa County. Yombly Kanga Lawrence defeated him, under 3,000 vote margin. So such an individual as a vice presidential, candidate to our ticket in the ANC, that ticket will put up a serious fight against Yombly Kanga Lawrence in Bassa because the margin between Yombly and Gbesong, was not that wide. It was a very small and tight margin. So our contemplator, what we're going to be contemplating on right now, is to ensure that Gbesong be the kick at the moment. So let's observe, let's look around, let's look at everything we want to do about it. Let's look at everything we want to say. Let's look at everything we want to say. So obviously, they start to have all of these conversations. All. So at the moment, Cummings' decision is hanking 50-50 with Mr. Gbesanga Finlay. The choice here is to have Gbesanga Finlay because they are of the opinion that Gbesanga will be able to confront Yombly for the slot in Grand Bassa County. Because the idea is Cummings is now trying to select somebody who may not be able to bring votes because he himself ain't got number. Cummings himself doesn't have a base. You know, at least Joe Baga can speak to do a thing with all the things Tifa and Koji then doing Lofa. You know, most of Collie then trying to undercut which they are doing. You know, well, at least Joe Baga can say, even if I will not win Lofa County 100%, but I can manage to win Lofa County, or maybe I can manage to get about 50% or 55% of the votes there. At least Baga can beat his chest and say that. At least Jeremiah Kun can say, if I may not even win Nima County 100%, I can manage to take 40 or 30% from Nima County. Kun is capable of saying that. For Cummings, there is no way he can boast up. So he, as the arrowhead of the ANC, is not going to be so interested in selecting somebody who is not. I repeat, he's not going to be interested in selecting somebody who is unwilling or who may not have. Is it an issue of probability? Who doesn't have that ability to pull votes? Cummings will not want it. He would rather select somebody who is a political cake. So in this situation, the choice of Gbesanga seems appropriate to the Cummings team. Number one, Gbesanga is a tested politician in Grand Bassa. He won the senatorial position there before, went to the Liberian Senate, managed to convince 29 other individuals in the main pro tem. He left the position because he did not, win the re-election bid he went for in 2017. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, he became, a foreign affairs minister of this country. Yeah, from the foreign affairs ministry, boom. He thought to go back to reclaim a senatorial position. He was unfortunate to have done so. Yombly defeated him. And so at least the Bassa terrain is not going to be a strange place for him. At least Gbesanga can sit down and divide the Bassa, settlements into different, segments that may pull out the vote for him. And so the guy said, let us shoot the shot. They got some technical issue with Gbesanga Finlay, but I'm not talking. Because our man Costa told us ever since that man can talk all. Yeah, and man not supposed to talk all in 2-minute political conversation. For some obvious political reasons, man will not talk all. Right? But at the moment, Cummings is contemplating on selecting Mr. Finlay as the running mate. Now, aren't we confused as Liberian people? Is this not a sign of confusion? Is this not a sign of confusion? In 2019, these people were together. In 2019, these individuals made Liberia ungovernable. That's what they did. To the extent they were making serious divisive statements against those in authority. I remember the guys in the CPP referred to the people in power today as cockroaches. Go to East Africa and call somebody a cockroach and see the kind of way they will look at you. In fact, they will look at you in such a demeaning form and manner to the extent that you will ever regret uttering such a statement. Because it is so embarrassing. That is unacceptable in any civilized environment. People are cautioned seriously against using those kind of statements. Oh, yes. In their unity, when they were united, they made those statements against the sitting government. They branded people in power as cockroaches. That is to what extent they were ready to demean the image of this country. For all of that time to pass, and we are at this level, and you're not able to hold together, and you're moving here and there. When all of these things are happening, it is just as clear to us that it has never been, and it is not about the Liberian people, but the personal interest of individuals wanting to steer the affairs of the country. Now, how can you expect the Liberian people to make a decision in supporting such a political, tendency when everything they keep doing is all about themselves. Okay, let's agree. In one of Mr. U.S. statements, he said the four collaborating political parties, they are here today, they are stronger every day, and they are here to take back their country. That is what Mr. U.S. said in one of his recordings. Let me play it.
Operating political parties provide the best answer to the problems of Liberia. And that is why we're here. We're united today. We get stronger every day. And we are here to take back our country. Thank you.
Who has?
We are here to take back our country. Thank you.
Who has your country?
Today, and we are here to take back our country.
Okay, so you hearing it? In 2019, they made it clear that they were together to take back their country. Not only did they go to the extent of making such a divisive statement, the guys were clear. The same Mr. Ure was clear when he branded those in authority as cockroaches. Listen to it.
Today, the people have spoken. And let the few cockroaches. And let the few cockroaches. And let the few cockroaches go now. And let the few cockroaches go now.
Okay. Are you hearing it? So those were the kind of statements they made against the system. Now, Liberians at the time were thinking, oh, but then the CPP got and there are people to trust. But look at where we are today. Waga Selecta Kun, it exposed everybody's intention. Waga just went to work and selected Jeremiah Kun and said, Kun, let's go contest. Kun, let's go. Whether Costa say you can sell him in paddle, you can sell him in paddle. Kun, let's go contest. Whether you boyo man, you're not boyo man. Kun, let's go contest. But I just said, Kun, let's go contest. Everybody showed themselves. Senator DeLong, who benefited from the arrangement of the CPP, is yet to make a definite position on his involvement in the presidential election. So now you ask DeLong who you voting for president, DeLong will not tell you. Right now, you ask Senator DeLong, he will not tell you. DeLong one side. Yombly one side. Costa is this way. Ure is on the side. Berete, Cummings, they're sitting on the other side. Now, this whole issue should be enough to validate all of the nonsense we've been saying on this radio, because some of you say that nonsense. It should be able to validate all of what we've said, all of what we've predicted, that this thing is not about the country. No, it is not. We said it that it was never about the country, but a group of individuals who felt that a particular regime that came to power was not a kind of regime that should preside over their country. So out of hate, out of envy, out of being pompous and arrogant, people formed themselves into a collaboration. Sadly, it has broken down. And the latest news is that Costa will be on the ballot as a presidential candidate. If all of these things are not sufficient to control and inform Liberians as to the kind of individuals opting to remove this government, if all of these things happening, if they are not sufficient, then I don't know what else we will tell the Liberian people. Because for us, we will not manufacture different statements. If they issue about you and Costa are together today, you and Cummings together today, Baka, everybody singing together, doing this, if all of these things are not sufficient to inform you of how unserious they will be, of how they will want to kill one another for power, of how they could take desperation for wealth and other governmental positions to the presidency, if these things are not sufficient to tell you, I don't know what will be sufficient. I don't know what. But what I can say is that you may not be pleased. Like I'm saying, you may not be pleased with what's happening in the country. No, you may not be pleased. You may not be pleased with the level of development we've achieved as a country and people. You may not be pleased. You may not be satisfied with the progress we've made in education, in healthcare, in peace and security. You may not be pleased with the general infrastructure we've had. But one thing you should consider is never to allow your thirst for water to lead you to drink acid or urine. Hello? Never allow your thirst for water. Because over 10 days now I drink water, over 5 days I drink water, so I see pee in the chamber. So long that liquid, I will drink it because I test it. Never allow your extreme thirst for cold drinking water to lead you to drinking serious urine. That will be at your own detriment. We all know that everything may not be good in this country. And that's why we don't support all of the folks in the We As administration. For us, we know that there are people in this government who are terribly lazy. We know several individuals in this We As administration who are good for nothing. They know nothing about what they are doing. We know. But in the midst of all of what we know, what we see is a bigger picture that the country is heading towards. What we see is road going to Lofa County, something that has never happened since the formation of this country. That is what we see. For the quota to pass by Lofa Bridge and enter Salae town, that is the bigger picture that we see. Oh yes, we know that everybody not eating, on time or the kind of food they want to eat in the country. There are people suffering. We know that. We are aware. But what we know as well is a bigger picture that is connected with the expansion of electricity. That is the bigger picture we are looking at. And that's why counties like Bombing, Cape Mount, and other places are being added to the national electricity grid. Today, there were counties that never had current 4, 5, 6 years ago. Today, they are illuminated. There may not be people, all of the people in the country may not be working. Job in them may be hard. There may be financial difficulties in this country. We know that. We're not saying everything is bread and butter, but there is a bigger picture that we see. That bigger picture is that policy that seeks to ensure that students in this country who are not able to attend private universities, students who see the public universities and public institutions as the beacon of hope for acquiring tertiary education, the picture that we see is to ensure that those students will not be confronted with the payment of tuition. In as much as they are Liberians, in as much as they are legitimate students of those entities, they should not be paying tuition. That is the bigger picture that we see. The bigger picture we see is that one that is connecting the road from Nimba towards Grand Jide. The picture that took the road from Ganta to Sacre Pier and the active contract that is on from Sacre Pier to Tapeta. The bigger picture is the one that's taking the road from Fishtown in River G towards the River G Grand Jide border at Kelipo Kaweken. That is the bigger picture that we see. Because we believe that when the infrastructure of the country, especially the roads, are connected, when the roads are connected, you also have automatic economic viability, because Liberians will have the chance to choose whether to live in Zinra in Monrovia or go to your people decent house that they got in Grand Jide. When the roads are good in the country, the issue of suffering in Monrovia that we're encountering may not be the case of the day, because the man may choose to go and live in his decent house in Bonjima instead of staying in the dirty water and in Zinra in some kind of swamp in Monrovia. That is why in the midst of all of this political conspiracy, in the midst of all of this political, tortures that we keep seeing, people trying to undermine the image of the country and government, in the midst of all of these things, we see a bigger picture, and that's why we keep saying to you, hey, Joe Barker may be a good man. We don't know that for a fact because records are not saying so. Taiwan could be a good man, but for the sake of the picture that we see, for what we are experiencing, for the level of developmental transformation taking place in this country, we think there is a need for continuity. When you ask the people who live Johnsonville today, they will tell you before George Weah, they could not ride a car from Dry Red Market to Johnsonville Police Station. They will tell you that. When you ask the people at Puebline, they will tell you before Weah could become president, they never used a ride car from Johnsonville Police Station up to Puebline and the rail line intersection. When you ask the people at the Johnsonville Police Station today, before George Weah, they never used to, drive from the police station using the Mount Barkley route up towards the main road going to Fendel. They will tell you so. Today, that story has changed. No. Everything good in the country. If I say that to you, I'm a liar. But at least when you go to Logantown Broad Street, although the road may be having some technical issue that will warrant some intervention, but they will tell you that before cars used to hitch between Jamaica Road to Logantown, there were serious issues with the road. At least the people around the entire rehab community where former Vice President Bwaka lives can attest that before George Weah, there were serious issues with moving from one place to the other in that community. No, you want to talk about Grand Bassa County, the Buchanan Fairground Road. You want us to talk about, the Medina Rabasport project that is on course. You want to talk about, we're not going to mention Dole community because it is a national anthem. We may not have it all in the country, but we think, like our artists would say, it is better to have the country moving at this level than to gamble it with people who are into merger because somebody prays that the president will soon die and will take power. The whole reason for that CPP arrangement is because somebody went to work and said, I alone, Labrimpo will not make me president. So for me to become president is to join the United Party and enter CPP arrangement and try to find my way out and see whether Joe Biden will select me. And when he select me in the process, we'll go to the process. If I be he may die after 1-2 years and I'll become president. People went to the arrangement not on the basis of ideological similarities or purpose for which they want to run, not on the basis of the vision they have for the country, but because they see Bwaka as a conduit through which they can attain state power easily. And so while people are going to political merger on the basis of policies, the guys in the CPP, including Cummings, including the very Ure, including Senator Yomli, went to that arrangement because they thought they could exploit the Pape health. They thought they could exploit the Pape AIDS. And maybe when the Liberian people say maybe, and the main president with any of them, either President Bwaka, Vice President Yomli, President Bwaka, Vice President Ure, President Bwaka, Vice President, what is the other name? I don't have to know, Cummings. There may be with the notion that after 1 or 2 years, either if he's not gone and dead, God forbid, he could be incapacitated, maybe old, unable to walk, and they could manipulate the legislature because they will be the government in power. The government is already old. He's tired. They manipulate the system. I have a vote of no confidence in him. They say, the president is incapacitated. He can stand with people 2-3 minutes, and he will be there. The vice president will take over and have another person brought on board, and that's the shortest way to power. 1 or 2-3 years remaining, they can use that time to cement themselves in power, build some alliances around the country, do some quick impact projects, make some interventions, and the Liberian people could just think and say, you know what, let's continue with them. People went to that arrangement not because they have a commonality of ideas, but because they see the Pape as a conduit. Now, when you go to that kind of arrangement under such an evil intention, it doesn't say anything good about the kind of people coming to power. Now, what do? Do we gamble these people for what we have at the moment? The sad thing is, all of these people are running to the Liberian Senate today to look for their running mate. Most of them are running to the Liberian Senate to find a running mate. Oh, you want to be vice president? Go to the Senate. Everybody want to run to the Senate for vice president. Everybody passing around. You want to use Senate? Either the Senate or somebody who have served as senator before. That's what you're doing. This very Senate, it is about time that we start to question the Senate in terms of how they do things, because that is where you find most of the people who are often selected as running mate. And when they are selected, they start to make statements like Jeremiah Kuhn. I mean, he's making statements though. Can Mr. Kuhn tell us what did he do or what did he say when the bill that emanated from Thomas Fallard from the House of Representatives seeking to have the free tuition policy legislated? What was his role? What did Thomas Fallard do on the floor, or what did he say on the floor? If the senators who are often selected by their presidential candidates will always come and wanting to present themselves as saints, then it is time we start to ask the Senate some hard questions. Thomas Fallard went to work. He said, all the people in the country who attended government school, university, should not pay school fee. The way the president say, let's put it into law so that when the president is not in power, the next president, even when he drink liquor, he pass through a nose, he will not be able to stop it. Hello? Right now, President Weah said, once he's in power, when you go to any public university, you'll not pay school fee. All the children who've been graduating from UL, Thomas University, under Weah administration, they know that they can pay school fee. They can only pay small fees, you know, that are not too essential. Tuition pay is free. But that thing the president doing, he's doing it from a budget. It is not a law. So in 2029, President, we are not in power again, or President, we have to decide to say, I won't be president again. It means the next president can come and say, that thing what Joe we are doing, say, you will not pay school fees, that law. So not a president, you will pay school fees. That is what Thomas Fallard wants. So Thomas Fallard said, let's put it in law. See that good idea the president bring? Some of us we used to be paying people school fee at UL every semester. We go do scholarship fund drive. See the president already cut that load from our head. Let's put it in law. Let's read the paper. Let make it documented that if President Weah leaves power, whoever comes to power, they will still continue the free tuition policy because it is good for the country people cheering. The country people who not get money for the children to go to UL and other public universities, it will enhance their ability to study. It will give them the chance to go to school without, bustling and hustling for school fees. Let's put it into law. That document has been lingering at the Liberian Senate. But to the Senate, everybody can run to say to go for vice running middle. I got this in vice Senate bearer. That the Senate, everybody can be running to go for vice Senate bearer in the Senate. By the time you select one senator, they can be my vice Senate bearer. Boom. You start talking how the country buy, how the country does. It is about time we ask these senators. Sometimes we ask them crucial questions. Some of that did the bill from the House of Representatives. I'm told it is at the Senate. What have you guys done? Somebody should ask Mr. Kuhn, Senator Kuhn, what did you do with the bill? That way not about George Weah. If we leaves power today, tomorrow, next year, we after next, 2029, 2030, 2050, whatever time the Liberian people will decide, the bill says, the whole law that has been proposed says, whoever come to power, when a person can drink kinju, when they can smoke weed, whether they smoke, they drink, or they can do anything that can make them out of order, they not have the right to change it. They can't stop it because it is a law. They will be under legal obligation to have it done. What has been the role of Kuhn? There are other people who want to be president. Tewon Gonglo is yet to select his own running mate. He may go to the Senate to select that person. Now, the next question will become, what have they been able to do with key sensitive documents at the Senate? Documents that are lingering. What have they been able to do? The last time I checked, the House of Representatives had to rectify, they had to do, this whole Liberianization policy. We are told it is at the Liberian Senate. What have they done? So you see, this thing about all of the political conspiracy in the country, the many people coming together, it was never about the Liberian people. Never. If it had nothing to do with personal reasons, DeLong, Costa, Ure, Yombly, Tilia, the rest of them would have been up Broad Street today, passing around with Jeremiah Kuhn and supporting him. If it was never about their personal interest and personal greed for power, they would have had their involvement in that endorsement. But because it is not about the Liberian people, it is about somebody's personal interest to want to assume state power, they are apart. Today, Costa is about to be named as the presidential candidate for ALP. Cummings may soon select Bryson Gafile to run with him as the vice, standard bearer from the from the Bassa region because he want to get at Yomli. Yomli, on the other hand, along with Senator Delon, we are told they're trying to have an independent Labour Party or some kind of independent CPP organized to go register Kokwe and do the stuff. So it was never about the Liberian people. Now, why would you want to convince me that we should remove George Weah under whose administration Sesta City is being paved with quota? Under whose administration Bangladesh City is being paved? Now, the country may not be good the way you want it, because it was already 170 years old country that was turned over to him. And you know that you cannot fix it in 5 years. Even if you are a magician, it's not possible. But for some of the significant progress we've made under extreme economic conditions, this is an era where we are not receiving UN money. We are not receiving money being spent in this country by the United Nations for over 12 years. This is the era where you're not having UN money. Raw is going to Lofa. Raw is going towards Grenjida. Raw is going to Medina up to Rawalsport under an administration where you are not signing 2-minute concession agreement because they sold out of it. 68, they sold it. They left the country empty. 68 concession agreement were already done. Under such an arrangement, you have the Freeport of Monrovia for the first time in the history of the country having our own headquarters. Before George Weah could become president, Freeport head office was in Contino. All Contino. That's why the managing director used to go sit down. So on a small little house where you look at getting a security man boot. That's where the Freeport had their head office. Under we are a gigantic structure befitting of a managing director's office at the Freeport was done to house the National Port Authority. Now, we may not agree with all of the things happening, but should somebody look me in the face and say to transform fish market poo-poo fee into invisible park, something that is bringing glory and glamorous, a view to the entire fish market and single terrain. Somebody should tell me that is not progress. How do you expect me to exhaust that? Especially when those you want to replace with this president, when one of them is on record of telling you how they squander opportunity. When one of them could not take 1 kilometer of road towards Lofa County. Now, how do you expect me to allow the voters to be vulnerable without me educating them when these facts are glaring? Like I said, no government on the face of the earth will be flawless. Every government got their own problems. This government is inclusive. There are serious problems in the country. Some men in the government can do nonsense. Plenty men in the government can do nonsense. Too many of them are not innovative. But on the overall, the collective achievement of the system are things that we want to go. We want to look up. Yeah, there may be some economic issues about jobs, about this, but trust me, in a country where concession is not forthcoming, in a country where all of the concession companies, concession sectors were offered to Booker's company with several years in agreement. You don't expect the economy of those countries to boom. Such is the case of Liberia. Look at the party under Joe Walker. They took Farmington Hotel and gave it 30 years tax break. You build a hotel right close to the airport where you got every day good people coming to the country to lodge in the hotel. That one they're not paying car pay. They ain't paying too much long car pay to go to the hotel. You get them in a tax break. You say don't pay taxes. But you got hotels in Monrovia, Mamba Point, Cinco, paying serious taxes. Hotel are right close to the strangers. And when strangers come to the country, to the airport, they can be. They want out to the airport that you sort of get taxes. Then they want to in Mara, you don't get taxes. You change it around. They want to the airport, you say free. Don't pay taxes. And that's why the other hotel that has been built, the other hotel that was built right by Farmington, that hotel is struggling for businesses, I'm told. I still to be corrected on it, but That hotel is struggling to run, their generators and other things because they are paying taxes while Farmington sitting down there not paying one stuff. They're on tax break. I mean, those opportunities that were squandered. Why should you give somebody a tax break? You took the whole port of Monrovia, APN terminal. You brought APN terminal and chucked it in the port. They will determine how much I claim and continue, for how much I pay to claim and continue. Now, when you do those things, the adverse reaction will be for the country people to bear. They will be the one who will encounter the difficulties. That's the same people who made those decisions. After 12 years, they got beaten. Now they're coming back to say we have solutions. Solutions to what? You have solution. You could not take common role to Lofa, a place where the man who was in charge of the country came from. You have solution. Yeah, you took the first 6 years to rehabilitate the road from Monrovia to Ganta. Good. The rest of the second 6 years, why didn't you do a kilometer of road from Ganta towards the southeast? At least you have taken the road to Sacré-Pierre or Tabeta. President Weah, at the moment, the way he's doing the road, would have taken that road from Tabeta up towards Zweju and maybe Kawekin. That's progress we're talking about. But since you did not do it, Omen Joe Bwaka, we are had to start from way Ganta. It is now at Sacré-Pierre going towards Tabeta. Now you're coming back to say, okay, let's move you. Okay, that's true. Our vice president, I don't care road to what Lofa. I see you carry the salary, thank you. But I won't count that. I will carry to what Bunchima. And you could expect me to allow Liberians to accept such a gamble? But I'm not going to say more. The decision by the ALP to have Mr. Costa as a presidential candidate should say to you that all of what we've said on this platform about those individuals not being serious, not having anything substantial to talk about in terms of interest of this country, that all of what we've been saying are things that we set out of love for country, not for any political reasons. Here is it. Costa. Okay, so can we name the presidential candidate? George Weah, Joao Taylor. Joseph Waka, Jeremiah Kuhn. Alexander Cummings, maybe Wesanga Finley. Okay, what is his name? Tawan Gonglo? We don't know. Henry Costa? We don't know. So you see it? In 2019, if you are asked anybody, they will tell you CPP versus CDC. That is exactly what they will tell you. Right now, we may even have a Yomli Kanga Lawrence versus somebody else. We may even have that ticket. This is to tell you how they were never. It was never about the country. So all that time while they were blocking road, burning tires, costing the president, standing on the car, giving Yaka money, encouraging Yaka to cost the president, all the time while they were taking to pay, students to burn tires, write statements, write too many articles, alarming statements, damaging the image of the country and the fact they were doing it to the government. So all of those things they were doing, they did the stuff in vain. They embarrassed the country for nothing. They disturbed the economy of the country because all of their actions prompted investors to slow down on investing in Liberia. Because no investor will want to come to a country where people will wake up in the morning and burn tire in the street because they say they are having political disagreement with the system. The investors were concerned. What kind of country where politicians will block the main road leading to the hospital? One of the major hospitals in the country. You block at Cali Junction. Ambulances got stuck in the traffic because they could not have their way to the hospital. People who were on vehicles, on the ambulances, they report that most of the patients that identical hour had to be transferred to other hospitals. Some of them even died on the way. The investors hear those things. You think they will come? Now, these same fools who caused all of those things to happen will come and sit in the country today and say, no job. But they forgot to know when they were disturbing the system, when they were disturbing the peace of the country, when they were demeaning the image of the country, they didn't know that jobs will not come. They didn't know that the investors will not come. All they thought they were doing, they were into political caricature. Today, Nemesis has caught up with them. There is nothing else they can do. But all they will do is to run back to the poor voters and say you are suffering. But they will not tell you we caused you to suffer. They will not tell you that we did not give George Weah the chance to run the country the way he wanted to do it. They will not tell you that they felt offended that we will just visit the community in a day and instruct Mabutu Nyimpa to do the role in 3 months. For them, that was an affront to their survivability in the political space of the country. They felt that a president who would just go to Bar Road today and say, Mabutu, I don't know how you do it, but the next time I come here, let Kota be on the community road. When we have made that decision, and that's why I keep saying that was the greatest mistake president we have ever made. The greatest mistake he made was to go to Dole community, a community that was never in the budget, and say to the Minister of Finance, the government is for the people, by the people, and of the people. If the people have roads issues and we got money in the bank, we got money in the budget for other things, let's redirect some of those other things to ensure that this road is done. For them, they felt that if we allow this man to continue at this kind of level, when you just go to the place, it's poor, they instruct the both faces. When we allow him to have a free ride in 6 years, from now to 2023, we may not have anything to campaign against him for. So what we'll do, the reason why he can get beamed off and come to Dole community and say we'll face the road in 3 months time, the road we face is because small investor here, it's because the country can get some money. So what we'll do, we'll disturb the country. We will go and announce it. So billion got missing when the money, when 1 cent did not even get missing. We will take all dead body picture from outside of the country and post it on Facebook and say in Monrovia, you can find dead body on every street. We will go to the extent and test some died from different countries and post it and say that how Broad Street did it. We will spoil the image of the country because when we do so, we will not have the chance to generate taxes. And once he's not generating taxes because there will be not much businesses, he will not get money to do roads. When he's not able to do roads, when he's not able to build clinics, when he's not able to build, schools and other places, the Liberian people will think that he has failed. They will think that he is unable to govern, and they will vote against him. That is the decision they took. This year, they will not tell you. They will not tell you that they were the ones who made the decision. They will not say it. Because you don't know. You don't know when they were making it. You had no ideas. You had no understanding of the political traits. In 5 months' time, they're going to be going to your doorsteps. They will tell you, oh, government can take it, people can take it. Oh, yes, that's true. There are sometimes you have technical issues with the payroll, especially when revenue is low. You will have issues. To have an active revenue flow in the country, the business sector should be up to date. The private sector should be very, very strong because that's where government get most of their money. What did they do? They took 4 years to spoil the image of this country. So even the investors who are arriving are investors who are coming to the country because they've understood that too many of the things that have been said were all lies. And when investors start to come, they will not start giving jobs sooner. It takes time. And that's what we're saying. In the midst of all of the things that are not too good, in the midst of the one that's good small, the bigger picture is not to rock this boat of development. You may have your issues, but I think the level at which we are, with major roads being built, recreational centers built, press freedom, freedom of information act pass, the land right, act pass for women to inherit properties, too many of the different laws passed in this country, free tuition policy, the wide street payment, the proper housing unit across the country. The main thing is road. The level of roads being built, the expansion of electricity. These are things that you can see and make a determination that a country is headed for progress. When roads are built, let me conclude, you do not have to leave your beautiful homes on the hills in River G. You do not have to leave your beautiful homes on the plains of Cape Mount. You do not have to leave your beautiful homes in the mountains in Lofa County to come live in the dirty water in Buzi Quarter, the dirty water in Fiamma, the dirty water in Cloud. You don't have to leave your homes in the places. You will remain in your counties. You will go to school there because there are free tuitions. You will do everything in the places, and you don't have to come sit down in one zero house in Monrovia only because they say my son in Maria. But go check where the son living is in destitution when you leave your steel man concrete structure or decent house in the interior. The way you can have those things done is when the country is connected. Somebody is in the authority making that connection to happen. Somebody who have power could not make it happen is telling you, move the man who making it happen and put me there. I mean, what sense is that? But we leave that with you, the Labyrinth, the judge. But just so you know, the newest decision is that Mr. Costa is going to join the next. Yeah, he's going to join the train as one of those who will be on the presidential ballot paper this year. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We take calls, then we go home.
There are crowds in many places, in every community, you know, you can see. So if you see crime, report it. Don't take law in your hands for the real authority. Well, it can't take your law in. Crime Stopper here for us, bringing safety to your door. Whether you rich or you poor, if you see a human target, I mean you check. Do it for your safety. If you see a donkey pay, I'm a part of report it. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, let's stopping crime for all of us. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, let's stopping crime for all of us.
Crime Stopper Liberia is here for you. Remember, you see it, you report it. This is a message from your own Omen Sam Sion.
Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, let's stopping crime for all of us. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper.
Okay, so welcome back to the program. Let's take your calls here on 87.9. My name is Kind. Let's take the first batch of calls. 86500-104, 776-104-104 are the numbers to join the conversation. Let's go over to line 1 and take this person. Good evening. Let's hear you. What's your name? Where do you join us from?
My name is Eric Gaze, Deck City. I joined the district number 10, Mazzarado County.
District 10. Go ahead, sir. Let's hear you.
As I learned from my little corner this afternoon, the rescue one had been shot badly in the head in his rush to the United States of America for speedy check-up. And that is a very big secret news that is up now. That is not an issue. But what I want to talk about have to do with these guys are masquerading arrogance. They are living in a serious illusion or imagination. And in that imagination, they are living in fragmentation. They are not organized. President George Miller, we have one round victory. It's clear. We'll beat them. And then what to the court passing around with all substantive issues. Then we continue the process. Thank you very much, comrade.
We'll leave you right there from district number 10. Let's go over and take this question. Hello, go ahead. 1 minute.
Yeah, good morning, KOD.
Good evening, my brother. Let's hear you.
Yeah, my name is Prince Julie, and I call him a brother of Nikutan.
Go ahead, Prince. Let's hear you quickly.
Yeah, thank you. First, KOD, let me commend you for your topic on discussion. You know, how can those unserious people come to the election bowl or to the ballot bowl with unserious man? They are not organized. They are not well prepared for election. Because yes, the JKK and the JNB ticket rescue 1, rescue 2, it is a dead ticket. They are power in the opposition because of the ticket. Because Costa, Yombi, those people wasn't in the favor, they wasn't in the know of Baka picking Jeremiah Kun. A man with a boy in the region, they're kidding. They were not in support of that. So this ticket cannot go nowhere. And now, if ANC decide to join the ALP, they will be well. Because now Kumi has no political follower. Kumi is when it comes to issue of political follower. Because we don't know where Kumi is heading to. Someone who want to stand a gay right in this country, someone who want to bring gays in this country, we will not allow him to be president of the country. We cannot get our opponent to someone who's plan, skill, opportunities, my country to him. So who was the old car park in the garage says he was living alone. I will not give him my country. What you should have done in the past years, you know how to do it. And we'll get you to do it. You guys are liars. We will not give you our country.
Okay.
Our country will tell people and steal my leader.
We'll leave you right there. Let's take this other person. Go ahead. 1 minute. Let's hear you. Good evening, Chief. Let's hear you. 1 minute.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is Ara David Samia. Joining from Bagunga City, for Omega Market.
Omega Market. Go ahead, sir. 1 minute.
Thank you, KOK. I always asking people in opposition, if we don't vote for President who's going to pay the children our fees? If we don't vote for President who's going to continue the road process in a noble country member? If we don't vote for President who is going to build hospital for people to go to get medication? Please extend my question to people in opposition. Thank you very much.
We leave you right there. We take this other person. Go ahead. What's your name? Hello? Okay, we missed out on that person. Okay, let's see if we can squeeze this one. Hello? Hello? Oh my God. Let's clear the lines. Let's clear the lines and take yes, let's begin to take this other one. Go ahead, let's hear you.
Yeah, sure. How you doing?
We are great, Chief. What's the name?
From District 5.
District 5, go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, KOK, thank you for your lengthy discussion. Look, KOK, I can assure you, Western God would never and ever betray the interest of President Weah.
You think so? You think so? Mr. President Gafine will not accept Cummings' proposal?
I know.
Okay.
Somebody that I talk to, that somebody that I have close relation with.
Okay.
You know how many people that were in battle there that they couldn't get job today because of President. We are giving job the massive, you may name it, there are many. But to the issue, look, okay, this is very simple. I was sitting, I guided more than 10 years before President we came to presidency. I was able to go to university in Liberia or to go to other university. To add market shooting to a group of people who feel this country, I can't do it. And I know God will never allow it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We leave you right there. We leave you. Let's take this international caller. What is your name? Where do you join us from? Hello?
Honorable Kai. Good afternoon from my end.
Good evening from Liberia.
Thank you so much, Baba. Thank you for the show and thank you for the topic on our discussion. Honorable Kai, Liberians, good Liberians, good citizens that are listening to you people every day, listening to us every day, they need to take note. Honorable Kai, I remember when Eugene Falcon came from Liberia, he been having his show telling the Liberian people that the CPP, they are like the cornbread. When you mix the cornbread, pour everything inside. When the cornbread is big, it's hard for you to break it apart. And I told Eugene that day on his show, I said, any gathering that is not of God, the Bible said they will gather together. But one is something that is not for me or of me, they will scatter. And that what happening to us, Liberian. And we are seeing it's common logic. Common logic we are seeing today. Those people, they don't mean well for the country. That's the reason why their greediness made them to scatter. We don't have opposition in Liberia. We just got wicked people and greedy people. Maybe because that can take his sister and Terry Ude to be her running mate. You understand me? And maybe they don't, and normally will go too. Normally will go, well, it is Stena Bearer, then they don't will be the running mate. But trust me, Liberia will rise again. I just want to urge and encourage each and every one of you, all over can. You're still friend. Look, the Bible says the darkest day, the darkest time of the day, of the night, the day is about to break. Anytime, 4 or 3 o'clock in the morning, Oliver, open your window and look outside. You will see the place very dark. You will see the whole world dark. For less than a few minutes, you will see the daylight coming. Liberia will rise again. You're doing a great job. You're hold on. Don't be deterred. Don't go back. Don't even think you will not pay attention to anybody, any situation. But trust me, Liberia will rise again. Oliver, this is the time for you people to enjoy your country. They say the country for them, but they don't have the country at heart. Thank you for what you are doing, and then keep going. But guess what? I get a message for you.
Okay.
You want me to deliver it quick?
No. We leave it right there. We leave it right there. From Minnesota, let's come to Liberia. Go ahead. Let's hear you, man. We are great. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
Okay. Let me say hi to my sis, Rebecca. Say all I just left the line. After the show, I will talk to her, man, please.
Okay. She's listening.
What I want to say, Oliver, can you appreciate a long time on the same platform and grow in it? Let me say to you, Oliver, can we're working together with Muna Farante, with President, we have some power. Let the 3 months that is happening protect in America to remove President. We are in the proposal to be the head of that project. They start very tired. You have to say, when they put out all of members, the law, some of you are like in this country, you will vote for him. If we want 200,000 votes in your country, that was the law. What they brought to the Labrador people. And what all the law said today is not happening. The people, they're not there for us. Okay, then what you are saying. They're not there for us. They're there for their own self-interest. When people not be there, I shouldn't be there too. I will be there too for also. So long as men agree with the brother that is simple, that get up for power today, they're going to use some other today. Today she go and where she go from place to place now, looking for who to take her. They make betrayal for betrayal. He let everybody down and pray for that you keep saying he won't pass today, he better put to us on the ticket. Then you see your vote straight. Maybe for me now, better go and better you like it's a Jamaica and if for Germany. You know, Liberia, some of them they are pocket back. They get me laugh. Just Liberia, just let it to obey neighbor why the Germany man, just let it to him carefully. So not let people contact to you. They cannot see us in the country. You mean contact that rule may have put everybody in the country. You're not the person to go, we can't let you down. So you put contact to us. People are joking. They say we will wait there. They're going to the city at me. Thank you.
We leave you right there. Thank you very much. Let's leave you and take this other person on line 2. Go ahead. Let's hear you. You are on the line.
Okay.
Go ahead. Quickly. 1 minute. No time.
Okay. There is my Orita to the personal friend for Tiki Supake. Okay. First of all, I want to tell you thank you. I want to welcome my president back home. You see, okay. Liberian people not prepared now to buy spare parts. Because I'm not to order you were all car parking in the garage. So for now, according to them, they say Liberia we are hungry. And Liberia are hungry. They don't have money to go buy spare parts. So we beg you on the burger, we don't have money to buy spare parts. So we need someone that we need new car now. The car is new. That we deal with the car that we get now when we get all. After 12 years, we put it down. But for him, we don't have money now to buy spare parts. So, Mr. Banker, we beg you. You say we hungry. Then when we get money for now to buy spare parts again, to make a car new, then it means that the contract money will be going to you. So, Papa, continue to country and my adventure. Thank you.
We leave you right there. Let's take this other person. Go ahead. 1 minute. No time. Okay, we missed out on that person. Let's see if we can squeeze in this caller. What's your name? Where do you join us from?
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, this is Isaac Woozy, and I join you from the Community District 14.
Go ahead, Isaac.
Some of you, okay. You know, sometimes it's why some of us we believe in freedom ever, and we cannot go a day without listening to these voices on the radio. Because you give all the factor information with the young people and also the old people. For the ticket of Costa, the people thinking that the mistake we made with the loan by making him senator in this country is that mistake we are going to make Costa a president. There is no way in this country Costa will be president. Whether George Weah is not going to be president, Joseph Boga is not going to be president, Alexander Tendekum is not going to be president. We cannot make Costa a senator or not president. So thank you for asking me this afternoon.
We leave you right there. We leave you. Let's take this other President. We're going to take two more calls, then we call it a day. Just two more calls, then we call it a day. Let's take this person. Go ahead. 1 minute.
Okay.
Good evening.
And how you doing?
We are great, ma'am. Let's hear you quickly.
Yeah. I just want to tell the Liberian people that they shouldn't mad these people. They care for us. They want good things for themselves. So nobody must pay attention to them. So tricky people. Tricky people. They just doing their own thing. Prince Johnson, then all the other Liberians, you're not caring President George Weah. So you will end what he started for our children, also unit, hospitals, roads, everything. You're not caring. So he will end it. We cannot manage to end it. Your year the paper stay to the horse. The paper stay in the horse there. Nobody to stand what children watch feet. Our grandchildren. So we're begging you. Our man did not wear from St. Paul's Bridge. I'm begging you. The next year, President Georgia. So you will end when you started.
We leave you right there. Thank you very much. We leave you right there quickly. We leave you right there. Let's squeeze the last person. This should be the last caller. Then we call your day. We don't have the luxury of time. You're the last person. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. There's somebody I do join for UAE Dubai.
From Dubai. Go ahead from Dubai. Let's hear you.
Yeah, thank you for your talking point. And I would like to make you to understand this coming 2023 election, we will not carry President George Weah because we are not believe in the rules of law.
Okay.
And the president that we are carrying this time around is Taon Gonglo because we believe that from the legal side. So trust me, we'll mobilize our people and make our vote for Taon Gonglo.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, my brother. Let's leave you right there and take this last person. Go ahead, Chief.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm fine. Oliver, I need to talk to you about football today. I know the topic you have to discuss is very interesting. But hey, how much you pay for a jungle? How much it cost?
We'll have to discuss that off air.
Yeah, okay. I'll call you so we can discuss it because I want to sponsor 3 jungle. But hey, Henry Casco's money is laughable, but I think it should be welcome because that was, I hope they will go at each other. I hope Castro will have something to say about Joseph Boakai. That would damage them because I think that would just be an easy route to the 1-round victory. I think what should let it said if it's going to be true because he's going to take vote for United Party and it's laughable, man. To be honest with you, but I'll call you for all to talk about the jungle and. Let's be frank. Omer Baka is lack of idea, and up a bit. So I'll be wondering who you want to rescue himself or rescue Liberia? Because I'm a little bit doubting or confused about that whole rescue thing.
Okay.
Are you trying to rescue himself or rescue Liberia? But I'll call you after the show. You leave it open so you get off the show or you're hanging around.
Okay, we'll take your call once you call. Thank you very much. We'll leave you right there. Let's take this last person. You are the last. Go ahead.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Okay, I'm Robert Makoya calling for 17th Street Back Avenue.
Go ahead, Robert.
I just concur with the last caller. But Costa coming on the show to be standard bearer. It will be just when you remove 40 LPC for Banga at the end of the day, 2 of them. After Bosnia Charter, you can see them easily. So it will be very easy for President Weah to win the election where they will be fighting one another. Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll leave you 30 seconds.
Yeah, okay.
30 seconds.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. What I would say to you, there's a famous saying in this country that making to okay. What can happen and make me to all? I got to say to you. Thank you, okay, for the show.
Okay, we'll leave you right there. 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Yeah, good afternoon, Veteran Khan, whatever Khan.
30 seconds.
Yeah, my name is Franklin Kamara, verified in Principal Pusha, executive members of the Friends of Khan, whatever Khan.
We'll leave you right there. Let's take the other person. 30 seconds.
Yeah, Oliver Khan, this is my water for New Jersey National Resource Team.
30 seconds.
Yeah, I want to welcome my president back, and I want to tell you thank you. Oliver Khan, let God bless you. All
one is weekend that is going to do that is why exposing. Why we expose people to person we have go for 12 years. You're telling for education and everything. Thank you, my son.
Thank you very much. We leave you right there. And yes, we don't have the luxury of time. When we said 30 seconds, just go straight to the point. Yeah, we will appreciate it. But again, we will return here on Tuesday. We're going to be having a long weekend. Monday is Unification Day. Keep this country in one piece and not in pieces. Together, we will continue to have Liberia as our noble and only common denominator. Let's leave to return on Tuesday.